Hello and welcome to Christie's Cropping and Creating. I have a fun layout to share with you guys today. I have done some pre-cutting and adhering and things like that. This is a sample of the layout that we're going to do. It was inspired by these different circles that you see over here that have this interesting looking, I'm going to call it a star in the center of it. I don't have my mats taped down, by the way, my photo mats. I just wanted to lay some things here so that you could see. One way to get 4 pictures on the page would be 3 4x6s and 1 4x4. Of course, you could always do just 3 photos. And of course, you could do 4 4x4s, but y'all know that I like to get a lot of pictures on the page, and that's why I had it laid here like this, just to show you an option. I'm going to hold this up close to the camera so that you can see better the shapes that I have made to decorate the page. So this literally is a circle, and I've got a different color going around the edge, and it makes it so it's a circle that has circles decorating the outside of the circle, and it gives it this like I said, this star look. But if you look at that, it looks like here is flower petals. Here's the top of a flower petal. Here's the bottom of a flower petal, or even a butterfly. So it gives you so many different looks based on the way you focus in on the design. So this was inspired by, I was shopping at a mall, and outside the mall there was this display advertising the particular store I was about to walk into, and there were a lot of these kinds of shapes, this almost cat eye looking shape. It's not really a half moon because it's rounded on both sides, but it's pointy at the ends. And so there were a lot of different combinations of this shape, making things, I guess in some ways it looked like a quilt pattern. And so I wanted to figure out how to do it. And so this is the way that I have figured out how to do it this time. I may end up doing another class using these shapes, but the hard part was I wanted this shape to be quick and easy to create. And if you can see in some of my trash up on my desk, that it was not easy to get it consistent. I could make the shape a million times using just our custom cutting system or our circle punch, and I kept getting them different sizes, but I really needed them to be consistent so that it would look the same. You know, the stars in the center of the circle would all look the same. So here's my sample, and today we're going to be working with some blues, and I've already got these 4 circles taped down, getting ready for us to cut out the big circle. Here are some circles that I have already done for us to use in class today. And we're going to need to do the layout. We're going to need 5 to go along the left hand, or of course the right hand side of the page, across the top, across the bottom, wherever you want your 5. And I thought, you know, we really could add even more to the layout. Just imagine that these are the same color as the ones on my left hand side, and look at all the variations. We could have the tops of the flower petals going all along the top edge, and you could make it, of course, into a double page spread as well. By adding more, you could bring it down here along the bottom. But I didn't want the video to be over an hour long, going over cutting out these things and going over all the variations. So we're going to get started today. For this layout, I did use a decorative or a designer piece of paper that would complement the colors in my my background circle and then my top circles. Oh, and also, obviously, all of the outside circles in this one are green. All of them here are orange. And technically, this is Kelly green, and this is, oh, I think it was pumpkin. But you can see that for my layout today, we're using designer papers on a solid cardstock. And then we're also, my background today to put all of this on is going to be white. So I think I wanted to do it this way so that you could see that there are options for how to create your layout. In this case, I used a designer piece of paper. Today we're using just a solid colored cardstock. And I did the opposite for the circles. So you will need the circle punch and your middle circle custom cutting system pattern and the red blade. And what we're going to do, I've already cut out my circles, and you can see that I've got some laying here, plus I've already done the other three. So so you're going to watch me today cut this one out that I've already adhered, and then I'm going to choose 4 more circles to tape over here and get ready to cut them out. So the first thing we're going to do, I did learn the hard way that you do want to stick your circles to your background before you try to cut it out, because otherwise things will move. I've only got the adhesive on this inside edge of each of these 4 circles, and you can see that I've got this little star design. I don't know what else to call it other than to call it a star design. And you can also see that I'm really close to the edge of the paper. Well, one thing I want you to know is that one way to make sure you're getting these about the same size is to line up your circles about the same width from the edge of the page, or from the circle above it, or from the edge of the page above it. And then when you place your pattern on top of it, I know I told you this is the middle of the custom cutting system patterns. For those of you that have them numbered 1 through 7 for the circles and the ovals, this is circle number 2. Again, we're using the inside track and the red blade. But I'm going to place my circle on my paper, getting ready to cut. I'm going to hold this up again. Oops, I moved it after I did. So I'm kind of just eyeballing to make sure that that's in the center. And what I want you to see when I hold it up is that right here, 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 and here, I have just a little bit of a peek of the cardstock underneath that is peeking through. Right, now let's see if I can hold this, not make it move, grab my pointer, and that's what I want you to see, is that you've got a little bit of that peeking through in all 4 areas as well. Another thing is, on your custom cutting system pattern, this inside track of the outside, you'll see that the circle, see that dark blue, meets up with that inner edge of the outside track. I moved it right as I was about to pull it away from the camera. So unfortunately, I can't get this to come down any closer, because then you wouldn't be able to see enough in the end. And if my head gets in the way at any point while I'm taping today, just y'all bear with me. But just trust me, the circle is meeting right here, and then I've got that little place in all 4 corners. I'm giving you a lot of pointers, but after you do it once or twice, it really does, it kind of comes naturally, and you won't waste a ton of paper since I'm giving you so many pointers. So we're just going to hold down, and then I'm going to put my blade in the track, make sure both of my feet are in there. And because you're going through 2 layers, it does take a little bit more pressure maybe than you would normally be used to. And when I complete the circle, just make sure it's cut through all the way before you move the pattern so that if you have to go around again, you can. And then you can see that I now have my circle with my cat eye shapes, so to speak, my star in the middle, and this is ready to go. So I'm gonna put it over here with the other the others that I have ready to go, and let's see which combination I want to go with next. Okay, now when I move this, I'm gonna have these little moons, crescent moons. It's not quite a crescent, I guess, but oops, this one still has a little bit of adhesive on the back. Oh, and I forgot to mention, y'all know that I love repositionable adhesive. Well, it's not quite strong enough to hold things still when you're cutting with this. So you do want to use a regular tape runner, not the repositionable tape runner when you're adhering your things. And since you're only putting it on that inside edge that is keeping this stuck to your circle, you really shouldn't have any excess. But if you do, just take your multi-purpose tool, this pancake end, and just kind of rub it off. If I could, I can't find the one. There it is. So I'll see if I can get that to focus. So right here is that little bit, and I can just take that off with my multi-purpose tool where that little bit is there. And then that way I can save this, and I'm going to tell you why I'm saving it in just a minute. So let me put these up here in my other saved piles. I'm going to move my repo back out of the way. Okay, so obviously I don't have enough room to cut another circle down here on the bottom. So I'm going to come up here, and because I'm cutting on this inside track, I don't have to go over completely away from this, but I am going to come in a little bit. I like to conserve paper, but I'm going to come in far enough so that I don't worry about cutting into that circle, because obviously it's got to be solid on the back for this to work for my next layout. All right, so since I'm doing a pattern and I've got these pieces, like I've got this on top and then it's on bottom, and then it's not on this one at all, then it's on top again. And I also need to see what papers I need to use another time. This darker blue is what I need to use again. And so I'm going to come over here, and this has kind of like a chain link design on it. Oh, by the way, today's papers, the printed papers, are from Q the Blue. And since this kind of chain link design, I do want it to be going vertical. So when I put them down, I'm going to put them down where both of those designs are going vertically. But other than, turn this to the outside, other than, if you want it to be going in a certain direction, you don't have to worry about it, because in some cases it's not going to matter. All right, let's see. Is this what I need to use? Or 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so for my circles over here, I can either use this paper or I could use the lighter colored paper, because I've already used, or the middle color paper, because I've already used them all multiple times. And I'm going to go ahead and go with this since I do have whole circles. But the reason you want to save these bigger pieces like this is I was able to make multiple circles with partial pieces. You just have to be sure that when you make your, let's see if I can show you really quick. When you're making your pattern, and you have, you want to make sure you've got that star shape, going on in the middle. And then when you put your pattern down, this one's not, these are not going to be big enough, I can already tell. But when you put your pattern down, if you're still going to have the, if it's going to cut so that the cat eye shape would still work, maybe if I rotate this out, I might can get this one to work. I thought I had pieces big enough here to be able to show you, which is why I didn't want to throw those away. So yeah, if I position this correctly, I would be able to get another one cut out with using these leftover pieces. Okay, so just you know, eye it carefully so that when you cut in, you're not going to cut off anything. But I don't want to take the time, any more time than I've already taken to do that on this video. So I'm going to go ahead and put my adhesive on this inside edge, and I'm going to stick my pieces down, and we're going to cut this circle, these circles out, and then we will move on to finishing the layout. So I'm just putting a little bit, and then that's what's kind of facing up in. And when you're placing your pieces, you've kind of laid them out ahead of time. And like I said, if you can make sure that all of your edges are matching, like right here, if I make sure this edge matches, then it'll help me to make sure I'm going to get equal sized cat eye pieces when I actually cut. So there's several ways to check on that spacing. So that looks like that star is going to be right. Move that back out of the way. And then I'm going to put this on here and make sure I'm going to be getting all of those little peaks up in here, 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 and here, so that that will come out right. And again, I apologize that I can't really zoom in any closer. Y'all just going to have to trust me on this again. And cut this out. And like I said, it does take a little bit more pressure than you would maybe normally use. And I think I've cut through all the way, but I'm going to take, yep, there we go. So I got those cut equally. And now I can move this out of the way. I tell you what, these make me think, when they're, especially when they're on top of the hollow circle, that makes me think of Mickey Mouse ears. Y'all see it too? I love Disney World, and I haven't been since 2019. And this is just making me think about Disney World and wanting to go again. So, and I didn't have any sticky adhesive left on the backs of those. So I'm just going to move these things out of the way. And you're also going to need your 12-inch trimmer, and your 13-inch mat is always very useful because you can help center things up on your 13-inch mat when you do this. Okay, so I'm going to start by just quickly popping them up here. And I want those little, let me hold it up close again. I want those little places to kind of meet right here, so that if you're thinking butterflies, you can think that that's the center of the butterfly. You could even tape something to that, you know, adhere another piece to it, maybe in a contrasting color, so that that could be the body of the butterfly. But if you have them kind of kissing each other, then that helps complete the look that that inspired this layout. And so I'm going to have that one like this. And I'm trying to, like I said, this pattern, it's on top here. Now I want it on bottom, and then it's not even in this one. So I'm just trying to kind of alternate. I'm using 3 papers and 5 circles, so I'm not going to have the exact same designs repeated multiple times. But if you were doing this on the page, more than just the way I'm having it with these 5, then of course you could repeat the things multiple times. But look how cool that looks. See, I've got this same butterfly right here is also down here. So that's kind of neat the way this has worked out. Now, for this layout, since my background is just white cardstock, of course I could use my printed papers that I used to make the circles to make some photo mats. It's not necessary, but I could use those if I wanted to. Of course, I can also use the blue cardstock that is in the center of the circles to make my photo mats, and that's honestly that's what I have out to do. That is what I have out to do the photo mats with today. So I'm just going to throw some adhesive on the backs of these, and I'm going to do it all at the same time, and then I'll come back and put things back together. And if you were watching me, I did kind of have to like squeeze them together, and now I am using repositionable adhesive. And right here along this outer edge, I've got it at about 1/8 of an inch coming in, and that makes that top peak right there almost at the 10 3/4 mark. So yours may need to be adjusted a little bit one way or the other, but they really are going to kiss the edge of each other so that all 5 fit going down the page. Okay. And again, I'm coming in about 1/4 of an inch. Let's see, this one goes back on top. And if you need to, if anything needs to be moved one way or the other, then you can adjust accordingly. Up here, I had it all the way up at the edge, and that this time it does seem to be leaving me a little bit of space at the bottom. So I guess I could have come down a tiny bit. I'm not going to worry about taking the time during this video to reposition this down even 1/8 of an inch, because it's not a full 1/8 of an inch down here. So you're going to have a tiny bit of space at one end or the other. But I'm going to move on to making my photo mats. And instead of doing 3 4x6s, I'm going to try to do 4 1/4 by 6 1/4. And then I will only do, well, will I do 3 or will I do, I have another piece of cardstock sitting out, so I don't need to worry about it. I started to say I'm not going to have enough cardstock, but yes, I will. So I'm doing it 4 1/4 by 6 1/4. And because I cut my first piece at 4 1/4, let's see, would I have enough on this one? I think I will. Yes, I will. So this one that I've already cut some circles out of, I do have enough to go, and I will just put this at the mark, and I'll cut up that direction, and then I'll come over here to cut at 6 1/4 down to the 4 1/4. So here's my second mat, and then I'm going to take my other piece of cardstock I had sitting out to make mats with. I'll cut this at 4 1/4. And turn it the other direction at 6 1/4. And these two 5 3/4 inch mats, I'll just set to the side to use with a different project. But as you can see, I can do this. And again, if I wanted to make a fourth mat of some sort of size, I could. I can cheat this way, do a journaling box here. So there's several different ways I can make this work for 3 photos and journaling space, or squeeze in maybe even a 2.5 by 3.5 inch photo or journaling mat. So I don't know, I was trying to think of doing them not lining them up exactly side by side like this, and then centering this one. So anyway, this is the gist of what my vision was. And oh, I forgot to tell y'all, interestingly enough, I know I've already told you I was going into the mall and the store's advertisement had things. So the other day I was watching a morning show. It's not really news, nor is it really entertainment, but they had the background behind the person they were interviewing had tons of these shapes in different colors. So if I can figure out how to get the picture of that show's background, and then also the advertisement for the store I was going into attached to this video, I will do that. But anyway, here is my my project for today. I hope that you enjoyed it. And if you need any of the supplies you've seen, you can find me at creativememories.com/user/Christy Bolin, and Christy's Kristi. Bolin is Bolin. And my email address, if you need to contact me, is christybolin@gmail.com. I've already spelled it for you, and since I'm holding it up right now, I'm not going to repeat it again. Thank you again for joining me today on Christy's Cropping and Creating. And if you're looking for an advisor, I would love to help you. And if you want to be an advisor, it really is easy, and there are no minimum ordering requirements. And then you could just get your things at a discount. So just let me know how I can help you. And I hope that you enjoyed this layout that I've shown you today. See y'all next time.